Good morning. Glad you could join me for our davening. Glad you could be here for our traditional Thursday morning Minyan. You know, some things don't change. Some things continue no matter what. You know, I have laid tefillin for more than 50 years. And I've taken my tefillin with me all over the world. I have laid my tefillin and davened in Iceland, in Australia, in the Canadian Rockies, in the Southwest Desert, in South America, in the Caribbean islands, at the top of what is referred to as Jebel Musa, that is Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula, the place where Moses supposedly, at least according to Muslim tradition, received the Torah. I also davened on Mount Nebo, not too far from the city of Amman, Jordan, the place where Moses, according to the Torah, was taken up by God, who was taken to his ancestors, a euphemism for this is the place where Moses died. I've worn tefillin in all of those places. Of course, at the wall in Jerusalem, at the Kotel, and it's something that is comforting. No matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what the circumstances are, you turn your heart to God. According to Tractate Brachot, which is the Tractate on Blessings found in the Talmud, you are to look for a congregation to daven with when it's the time to say the Shema, or the time to do in the morning or in the evening or in the afternoon. We don't say Shema during the afternoon, incidentally. You look for a minyan, but if you can't find a minyan, you pray on your own. And what you're supposed, and what if you are traveling? What if you're riding on your horse or your donkey? What do? You get off your donkey and you turn toward Jerusalem. That was what we were instructed to do. But what if it's a dangerous area? The rabbis asked, what if it's a nasty neighborhood, and you got to stay on your horse or your donkey, your animal? He says you stay on your animal and you continue, but you turn your heart toward Jerusalem. Isn't that great? You find some way of joining your heart with the hearts of other Jews to daven, to say those prayers that we Jews have been saying for thousands of years. We begin with the blessing over the Talit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitishanu b'mitzvotav lihit atef b'tzitzit. We are in the most peculiar of times when we can't get together. But you know, there are certain things that are familiar that we do regardless. We can't be together here in the synagogue, but you know, we are together online. And those same prayers that we say when we can get together, we say now. We join our hearts together and we say those prayers now. Now, here we go. The tefillin shel yad. I put it on my left arm by my heart, because my heart is with the Jewish people. My heart is with the Torah. My heart is with God. Robert and Sheila and Marlene, I'm so glad that you could join me this morning. If you know the prayer, you can say it along with me. If you got tefillin, great. If not, I'm putting tefillin on for you. And by the way, Women and men can wear tefillin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahaniach tefillin. Yes. And now the tefillin shel rosh. This is the way we focus our minds on what is real, what is constant, what is permanent and substantial. And one of those things that I think is permanent, substantial, and real is our Jewish tradition that no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what the circumstances are, even during these peculiar times, this is very familiar. This lets us know that no matter what, we are together, we are one, and God is in our presence. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvot tefillin. Eristichi leolam, eristichi b'tzedek uv'mishpat uv'rachamim, eristichi ve'emunah v'yadad et Adonai. Good, and now we are ready. Page 30 in the Mishkan Tefillah. And if you don't know the words, you probably do know the words for Ma Tovu. If you don't, just hum along. We do the best we can, right? Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. I offer thanks to you, O God, ever-living sovereign, that you have restored my soul to me in mercy. How great is your trust. We thank God for our physical existence and the gift of life. Page 36. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lesechvi lechachin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam pokeach Ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam matir Asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam hamechin mitzadei gaveh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam notein la'ayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam Ha'ma'avir sheina me'inai utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam sha'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam sha'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam sha'asani Yisrael. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam oter Yisrael batifara. Page 50. the Pesukei de Zemara. Baruch Shehamar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Baruch Shehamar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Osei Vereshit, Baruch Omer Ve'osei, Baruch Gozer Umekayem, Baruch Merachem Al Haaretz, Baruch She'amar Ve'haya Ha'olam. Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Melech Mechalal Batish Bachot. Page 52, the Ashrei. We're just going to do the first and last verses. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Od Yahalucha Tzela, Ashrei Am Shekachalo, Ashrei Am She'Adonai Elohav, Tihilat Adonai Yedaber Pi, Vayevarecho B'Soshim Kodsho Leolam Va'ed, Va'anachnu Nevarech Ya, Me'ata v'Ad Olam. Hallelujah. Psalm 150. Now that can be found on page 55. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah el bekodsho. Hallelujah bekirya uzo. Hallelujah bigvuratav. Hallelujah kerov gudlo. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah, bateka shofar. Hallelujah, benevel chinor. Hallelujah, betofu machol. Hallelujah, beminim ve'ugav. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah, betziltzele shama. Hallelujah, betziltzele trua. Kol hanshama tel hallelujah. Kol hanshama tel hallelujah. 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 Now, I know you're at home, and you might have your coffee with you, and I don't mind at all if between prayers you take a sip of your coffee, like I'm going to do now. I don't mind if you get up and walk around. You might be have some little chores to do. You might just want your computer on and listen to the prayers, sing them, or hear them as you are in your homes. That's fine with me. You don't have to sit and watch everything that's happening online. You can just enjoy the music. Come back to it and watch when you're ready. Page 56. Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol ha'kadosh b'shamayim uva'aretz ki lecha na'eh Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shir shivcha halel v'zimra oz ha'memshala netzech gedola u'gevara tehila tiferet kedosha malchot brachot v'hodaot me'ata v'yad olam Baruch ata Adonai el melech gadol b'tishbaot אל ההודעות, אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אל חיי העולמים. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגולה בגולה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ומעלמא יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה. שמי דקודשא בריחו לעולם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו amen. Won't you join me with in the Baruch Hu? Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam vaed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam vaed. And we thank God for the morning light. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. V'harereinu betoratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yachet levavenu leyahava ulera et shemecha, v'lo nevosh v'lo nikalem ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה ושועתך. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד, ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. And now we rise for the tefillah on page 76. Now, if you can find east in wherever you are, if you can kind of figure, that's where the sun is rising. It's 9:20 right now in South Florida. If you can see where the sun is rising, it's, wherever the beach is. You face the beach around here and you're facing east toward Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel chasadim tovim v'konei hakol v'zocher chazdei avot v'ima'ot umevi gula livnei v'neihem lema'an shemo be'ahava melech ozer u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah atah gibor le'olam Adonai mechayei meitim atah rav lehoshia Morid hatahol mechalkel chayim bechesed mechayei meitim berachamim rabim so mech noflim verofei cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha bal givurot Umido melach melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chachayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hametim nekadesh et shimcha b'olam kashem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom kakatuv al yad nevi'echa v'kara zeh el zeh v'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzvaot, Melech ha'aretz kevodo, Lumatam Baruch Yomeru, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo, Udivrei kodshecha katuv le'mor, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Eloha ha'yechzion, Ledor vador hallelujah, Ledor vador nagid gadlecha, Ulanetzach netzachim kedushatcha nakdish, V'shivecha Eloheinu mipinu lo yemush le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. And we continue with our own private prayers and meditations. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imaru, imaru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imaru. Amen. Now I'm going to open the doors of the ark so all of that beautiful energy will flow out from our ark, from the Torahs in our ark, and will come to you. This is what sustains us. This is what gives us hope. This is our connection with eternity. This is our connection with God during the good times and the not so good times, the easy times and the difficult times. This is what keeps us going. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula yotzeh breshit, shalo asanu kagoyei haratzot, ומחננו משפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. The Mourner's Kaddish, 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומייכון וחייך על בית ישראל, בגלה וזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעולם אין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דם ירן בימיו ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו amen. Sharice and Shari, good morning to you too. I'm so glad you could join us. In Kelohenu. Ein Kelohenu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkenu, ein Kamoshienu, mich Elohenu, mich Adonenu, mich Kemalkenu, mich Kamoshienu, no del Elohenu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkenu, no del Moshienu, Baruch Elohenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Boy, if you stick around, we're going to do a meditation, a high holiday meditation. But if you have to go, you gotta go. You might have, I know you all have things to do, but if you have a few minutes to spare to meditate, that's nice too. Well, tomorrow night. Whew, tomorrow night starts Rosh Hashanah. We welcome a new year. Can you imagine that? You know the old joke? I'm still writing 5780 on my checks, you know? Can't believe another year has passed. You know, a thought occurred to me yesterday. You know, we rabbis, we like to play with words. That this is peculiar. To say the least. We're going to have an empty sanctuary tomorrow except for a few lay leaders and staff members and the cantor and myself. It's peculiar, and yet it's familiar. Peculiar, but familiar. And I think that speaks of the constancy. It speaks of the comfort that we derive from attaching ourselves to our tradition. No matter what, in the darkest times, we affirm our attachment to our people, to our Torah, to our God, and to our community. That we Jews never lose hope. Oh, we can get discouraged for a while, but we Jews see the long picture, the big picture, right? We see the long stretch of history. And we know that when, everything passes, everything must pass. Everything everything is, in a sense, transitory. Even this COVID thing that we're enduring, I know it seems like it's going on forever, but you know what? There's going to be a time, not such a long time from now, but it's coming, sometime next year, where this is going to recede into the annals of history, right? So, yeah, good. So some of you are still with me for meditation. That's nice. Oh, boy. Now, it's important to see light, to actually physically observe light. When you, I notice something in my travels. Well, I only live 2/10 of a mile from the synagogue. I don't do a lot of driving, but I'm certainly saving a bundle on gas these days. I drive to the store, with my mask on. I go to the drugstore occasionally. I'm not too far from Walmart, but I put my mask on and I make sure my hands are washed when I go there. I go to the dry cleaners, but my neighborhood is around here, around the synagogue, is pretty compact. So my life during the last few months has been confined to a 6 square block area. Don't go out much, right? It's rather strange, and yet when I daven, when I meditate, my sense of geography, my sense of the area in which I dwell is much bigger. Bigger than the 6 square block area in which I operate these days. And it's a fight, though. It's a fight it's a discipline to keep your vision as broad as you can, to let as much light into your hearts as you can. When you're feeling a little down, we speak of darkness, we speak of feeling a bit blue, down. Those are the words that we use. There is actually, when you've ever been down, and we've all been down, if you notice your peripheral vision, your actual physical peripheral vision, it gets a little restricted. In our spiritual life, what we want to do is expand our spiritual vision. We want to gradually expand also our physical vision, field of vision, lifting moving the parameters of our vision further and further outward. That is one of the secrets of keeping your spirits up. That is one of the techniques of staying positive and feeling good during tough times. So, Michelle, you've joined us. How nice. Now, so what we're going to do, this is Elul. We have 2 more days of Elul, today and tomorrow, and then what? Rosh Hashanah. During the month of on Rosh Hashanah, that is on Rosh Hashanah morning, on that'll be this Shabbos morning, and our second day of Yontif is Sunday. We will be blowing the shofar, but we also blow the shofar we have one blast of the shofar every day during the month of Elul that precedes Rosh Hashanah. On Rosh Hashanah, we have 100 blasts, 100 separate little blasts of the shofar. But during the month of Elul, just to wake us up to how immense, how expansive the soul is, and the potentiality within our hearts and within God. We blow the shofar to wake us up from our slumber. Okay, so I'm going to start our meditation with a blast of the shofar and then our bell, and we will meditate. Sit somewhere where you're unlikely to be disturbed for the next few moments. And just be comfortable. Sit straight. Allow your eyes to close. And feel a deep sense of comfort and well-being flowing around you. Flowing within you and all around you. When we meditate, when we let our minds rest and we just observe what is happening all around us and within us, it is then that we are aware that we dwell within God, and God dwells within us. There is a profound sense of oneness in deep meditation. Adonai Echad, all being is one, all consciousness is one. Each one of us has an ego. Each one of us has a persona that we present to the world. But that's on the surface. It's important, but it is not really who we are. There is that spark of God, that godly consciousness that dwells deep within each one of us. And when we occupy the position, that perspective of the observer, when we observe what's happening in our physical environment, what's happening in our bodies, what's happening in our minds even, knowing that our thoughts are just that, thoughts, and that there is a deeper reality, a place deep within us that sees all that is happening without judgment and yet with great compassion. That is far and above the ego, far and above all of those definitions, those self-definitions that separate us from each other, from the world. As we ease into this perspective, we are aware of the question, who is watching? Who is watching all of this? The answer may be it is that godly consciousness within you, loving, patient, peaceful. In this deep meditation, the parameters, the periphery of our inner vision is expanded. False and temporary restrictions are removed. And we can take in more of life. We can drink freely from a fountain of creativity, inventiveness. We can allow more light into our inner beings. And we see more light. We see life more vividly. We see life that is full of possibilities. We breathe into those possibilities. And if we can live our lives from this spot, from this area, from this perspective, we can be busy, very busy, and yet very calm at the same time, focusing on what we're doing at the moment, feeling connected to the details, and yet connected to the big picture. Pouring the myriad of possibilities into the finitude of a detail. When we are in a deep meditation, sometimes we see vivid colors in our minds, even when our eyes are closed. We see vivid light. And we notice how our breathing is deeper, bringing us more life, more oxygen, more clarity. More strength. when life feels harried, when we feel pressure, when we feel stressed out, if we can just, for a moment, take a deep breath, keep our eyes open to what we're doing, and come back to this place. And then look at whatever it is that is evoking stress within us. Not in a judgmental way, but in a way that allows us to see solutions, allows us to see the big picture, allows us to see new solutions. It is in this deep state of spirituality that we are truly free to make decisions, not to react, but to respond, not to react to external things, but to look at them, to see the big picture. And to respond in the best possible way. Take a deep breath, hold it, and release it. Take another deep breath, hold it, and release it. One more. Let it go. Slowly open your eyes and adjust to the light. Charles, I'm glad you could join us. Oh, and Charisse as well. Stretch. Good. Well, the high holidays are almost upon us, and with the coming of Rosh Hashanah, we are promised a new start, a new perspective. So let us keep our minds and our hearts as expansive as possible, to be as positive and as joyous as we can be, to embrace this life with all of its possibilities, and to start wishing each other a Shana Tova Tikatevu. May we all be inscribed for a good, healthy, prosperous, and happy New Year. Smile, and bring a smile to at least the face of at least one other person today. Boker Tov, Boker Or. Jude, it's so nice that you could join us as well. Boker Tov to you.